Hello, my name is Max and with today is Hobie.
Hello.
And we're reviewing the Game of Thrones episode Dark Wings, Dark Words. It was on yesterday, what did you think of it?
Loved it. Loved it again. Again, it felt a bit build-up-y, if that makes sense.
Obviously, well, the first episode was introducing people to characters, and this one was also that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, obviously,
because
Arya,
there's
Brienne
so
and
many
Jaime.
characters and so many story arcs now.
Yeah. It started with Bran. The first thing I noticed is that his voice is broke.
Yeah. Well, I was going to mention that. I was like, I can see me not liking him now.
Really?
And not even because it's like his voice, but like I always felt like in season 1 anyway. And I've said this. I haven't read the books. I'm gonna start and everything.
Yeah.
But in season 1, I didn't know how big. Like it looks like he's going to be a big player now. I just thought he was going to be like one of the brothers, you know, like you'd know his name just because.
Yeah,
I didn't think he was gonna, but now he's getting his own story arc, and I'm liking that. That's not even because of anything like big, or it's just like you said. He looks a bit older now, which he obviously is. His voice is broken, and I just don't like the look of him now. You know, like I'm curious to see what path he's gonna take. Like it'll be interesting. And now that he's met up with this new one,
Jojen Reed. The thing about him is, he's been in a lot of stuff that I've seen, Doctor Who mainly, as a kid. And I've always not liked him.
Was it because he was blonde but he had really black eyebrows?
I think it's because he was annoying.
Right.
But he doesn't, for me, that's not what I imagined for the character. Jojen Reed being more frail, more smaller than he is. Because he's quite tall. He's going
to take the mentor place then.
Yeah,
really.
He'll be the one that knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, he sounds like it.
Yeah.
And his sister is obviously sort of like a different version of Osha, the wildling woman.
Yeah.
And it moved on to the first sight of Theon.
Yeah, first sight of Theon, which... Because I never liked Theon, even before he betrayed the Starks. And
yeah, there's something about him.
I was just like, look at you. You look like... yeah, exactly. You look like... Even though he's brought you in or whatever, you're spending his money. You haven't earned that. I know it sounds dumb, but that's what I thought. I was like, you're a free loafer. You're a mooch.
What I wanted to ask people is, what are your views on Theon? Because obviously in this episode he's getting tortured, and like that scene where the knife goes into the finger. That was not nice. Jesus. But is everyone happy with that? Because of what he did to Winterfell. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, he's getting his comeuppance.
So I'm interested to see what happens to him, and his sister sent someone.
I'm really interested to see what happens with Theon. But what's good about it is that it's given me a taster, and I want to know more. I think the next scene is Sansa talking to Shay. She gets invited by the Queen of Thorns to go and have a dinner. They talk about Joffrey basically. Diana Rigg. I love Diana Rigg. I've always had since she was on the Majesty's Secret Service. And I thought she's brilliant as her. She's exactly what I imagined reading the books.
I think my immediate thing was don't trust her. I don't know whether she will, but I was like, I mean, you can't just that openly be like, is the king a dick or not? Because you're obviously you know that if you're getting held captive, blah 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 blah, you have to watch every word. So I was like, Sansa, you need to be careful. You need to stop what you're doing.
So you wouldn't have told her. Like,
I would have just been king's the king.
Yeah, king. He's out.
Yeah, he's out. You know.
What did you think of Joffrey in this episode? Because I thought he was back to his sort of sexist, evil best. But what did you think of the scene with him and Marjorie nearer the end with the crossbow?
No, what I took away from it is Marjorie Tyrell.
She's quite sort of clever.
Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, you know, it was like at first I thought she'd just be like, oh, I just want to be queen because I want
power and all.
Yeah, but now I'm like, yeah, actually,
she understands
she knows the game. She's ready to play the game.
But what I like is that in the scene with her and Sansa and the Queen of Thorns, she was talking about her oath of her husband and a sort of fat oath of her son. He doesn't know what he's doing, and obviously she doesn't feel that way to Marjorie. Obviously Marjorie's a smaller, younger version of herself.
Yeah, exactly. It's the women that have power in House Tyrell. That's what I got from that.
Yeah. We'll talk about Brienne and Jaime My sisters love Brienne, and I think a lot of people do.
I like her.
I really like her.
Yeah, I think I don't know the actress, but I think she plays the role very well.
Yeah, some say that she's too pretty for her, and I think she's quite pretty.
Yeah, but is she?
In the book, she's like she's supposed to be like
looks like a man.
Yeah, like atrocious, but she's really good at it. Like she's convincing in her sword fighting roles and stuff like that.
She plays the part brilliantly.
She does.
So credit to the actress.
And Jaime's brilliant as well. I think that those duo, Jaime and Brienne, are quite. I think they're my favourite duo.
Yeah,
apart from maybe Bran and Tyrion.
Yeah. It was even on the bridge when he gets the sword, and he was like, I always wondered why some knights thought it was
two swords
and everything, and they're fighting, and she's kicking his ass. And to be fair,
he's
not fed. Yeah. He's not been fed.
That's why she wins.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting to see if in prime Jaime Lannister would he beat an in prime Brienne. I'm thinking Jaime would win, but it's still a decent fight.
Yeah.
That storyline's promising as well. Most of the storylines, because I know what's happening because I've read the books, and obviously there's little changes, but I just can't wait to see how they film it. I wish, for anyone who's thinking about reading the books, do read them, but watch this series first, because this is the first series that I've watched after knowing what happens. I've lost a bit of...
Yeah.
because I know what's happening.
Now you're just waiting for it on the screen. Whereas
it's not as good as being... Like, when that... In the series 2, when Melisandre gave birth to that shadow, I was going, what the hell? What the hell?
Say what?
Yeah. And obviously when Ned got his head chopped off, I was like, what? They're not going to kill off the main character.
Bean,
they did.
Yeah.
Well, that was Sean Bean, so it was obviously he was going to die. I think one of my favourite scenes of the episode was when Catelyn Stark was making that
it looked
toy.
like a dream catcher, if anything, really.
For obviously Bran and Rickon. This isn't in the books as well. And she talks about Jon Snow having the pox and her waiting by the side. And I think that I really like that bit.
Sorry, did you say it was or wasn't in the books?
It wasn't in the books. Because
Right.
I always thought...
So it was a fresh bit of writing.
Yeah. I always thought it was a bit stupid that she has pure hatred for Jon. Like the way she treated him. I thought, well, yeah, sure, he's...
Not yours.
Yeah, but I still thought it was a bit harsh. And that sort of explained it a bit more. And I got a lump in my throat watching it, and I quite liked it. After that scene, we cut to Jon at the...
Jon Snow with the
beyond the wall.
wildlings.
And you see Gareth from The Office for the first time.
Well, when I see him, I just think Pirates of the Caribbean, fake eye, chasing it along the floor.
I can't, like, in the last series, series 2, the guy who was with Theon, he's Chris Finch from The Office. Bloody good rep. So it's really hard for me to see Orell. It's Mackenzie Crook for me. We move on to possibly one of my favourite characters, and I think it's yours as well, Arya. She's back. I think everyone loves Arya.
Yeah.
I think she is brilliant. Arya, Gendry and Hot Pie are going through the forest and making their way towards the north, and they run into a band of...
Merry men.
Led by Thoros of Myr, who's played by Paul Kay. And when I first sort of heard that he was playing him, I was like, what? Because that doesn't make... It makes sense, but he's one of these characters that's been in... Like, he's been in Skins and stuff like that. I never sort of took him to be in a sort of a major HBO American TV series. But he's decent at it. And I thought, yeah, he's pretty good as Thoros of Myr. He's eccentric. The hair is really good on him.
Yeah. Does he have a scar on his forehead in the shape of anything, or is that just a...
Okay, I didn't see that. I just saw it at the back of his head. What I like about him is that he has to get the mix between eccentric and... I buy that he's a good swordsman. I buy it. And I quite like that. They're like the rebel. They're the rebel alliance. Correct. They're the rebel alliance against the Empire, basically.
That is what they are.
And it sort of ended brilliantly with... Because I know you love him. I know you love the Hound.
Yeah, the Hound's brilliant.
He is. And he just sounds... Everything he says is really good.
Like, what are you doing with the stock, bitch? I can't even do it, but... It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Overall, what do you think of the episode? Like, in summary.
Again, I thought it was just reintroducing you / introducing you to some new characters, but
new theories. Like, they had to explain what a warg is, obviously with Mackenzie Crook being the warg and stuff like that.
So you have a lot like that. But I'm very excited again to see the next episode, which is always good. It leaves me wanting more, and I like that.
I just want to see what happens with Theon. I want to see what happens with Theon. We'll end it on that. Well, that was our review of Game of Thrones episode Dark Wings, Dark Words. We'd love to hear from you. Subscribe and comment. What did you lot think? What was your favourite scene? I think my favourite scene was the Catelyn bit, because that just sort of it moved me.
It moved, yeah.
But from me and Hobie, thanks for listening.
Cheers.